Non-Stop Rock Talk with Tyson Bryden. Welcome to Non-Stop Rock Talk. Today we are joined by Kicks guitarist Brian Forsythe. Brian, welcome. How are you doing today?
It's good to be here.
Before we even get into the new, Midnight Dynamite relit, I just wanted to say I caught you guys, the first time I ever saw Kicks was 2 years ago at the M3.
Oh, okay.
And I had never seen you guys, and I had been a fan of, the Kicks live album that came out in the early 90s, and to be honest with you, that's my favorite live album. I love that album. It's so good. So anyway, getting to finally see you guys that Friday night was a riot. It was awesome. It was such a good night, and I ended up at the Marriott after and didn't get back to my hotel room till 3 in the morning, and then I was back up the next day to see Tora Tora first thing at noon with a little bit of a hangover, I must admit, but it was a really good time, man. You guys put on a kick-ass show.
Oh, well, that's our hometown crowd too. So there's a lot of good energy going.
Yeah, and that was amazing. And it was just seeing you guys in Baltimore, I guess close to Baltimore. It was just I'm glad I did, and hopefully I'll get to come to the M3 again and see you guys. So
yeah, hopefully when they get it going again.
Yeah, it was canceled last year, which kind of sucked, right? But that's everything right now. So
yeah.
So now I've mentioned Midnight Dynamite relit, which just came out, re-released back in November, I believe it was, November 20th or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah. So kind of tell me how that all came about. I understand that producer Beau Hill was involved reworking it.
Yeah, well, Mark Schenker actually was the one that kind of got behind it. But, the way it started, I can't remember which came first, but Beau he's been coming back around, when we would play in Texas, because where's he live, Austin? Somewhere, Austin, I think. But when we would play Houston or anywhere, he would show up, and we kind of got reunited, and he'd hang out, and I guess one night I wasn't there, but I guess him and Steve and Mark went to the hotel bar or something after the show, and they were just hanging out, and Beau mentioned that he wanted another crack at that Midnight Dynamite record. He goes, he says, I'd love to remix that, and both Steve and Mark are like, really? It's what could you do any better like that? What's wrong? There's nothing wrong with that record. And he goes, no, I'd like another crack at it. I know I can beat that mix. And
really?
Yeah.
Wow. Because I have the vinyl, and I play it quite a bit. It's funny because I have the CD too, and I've had it for years, but that vinyl I always thought just sounded better for some reason. So, and it's funny because Hair Nation plays material off that album all the time, and I kind of forgotten how good it was until I kept hearing it on Hair Nation all the time. So it's almost like they kind of brought back that album as well for you guys.
Yeah, Hair Nation's pretty good about playing our stuff, which is awesome.
Yeah, which is fantastic. So going back to 1985, you guys were coming off the Cool Kids record, and from what I understand from reading other interviews, I think with Steve, that he kind of mentioned that Atlantic had kind of pushed you guys into the material, how the sound was on Cool Kids.
Yeah, because the first record was sort of, they just sort of let us go and just do our thing, and it was a little more raw, and then after that they try to sort of take hold and think they, it's almost like a guy-girlfriend relationship. They get a relationship, and then one of the partners thinks they can mold the other person to what they really want.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. That's a good analogy.
Yeah. So that's kind of what they tried to do with us. They wanted more singles and, the more pop singles. And plus it was, early 80s, and MTV was playing all the new wave or whatever kind of pop stuff.
Yeah, and it's funny because I had a copy of Cool Kids. I got robbed last year, and it got robbed. But it said U.S. Kicks on it.
Oh, because you're in Canada.
Yes. Yes,
That's
I'm okay. Yeah.
I guess there was another Kicks up there, so we had to put U.S. in front of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of. I remember when I got it, and I was like, "What is this? Why does it say U.S. Kicks on it?" I figured it was something to do with there being another band.
Yeah, because the same thing happened with the band Wrathchild. It was a European Wrathchild, so they had to put the America after there. So it was
that's right.
America.
Because Brad Divins, who played on Cool Kids, he started Wrathchild America, right? Am I correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and which actually that's a good segue because I actually wanted to ask about that. So going from Cool Kids into Midnight Dynamite, Ronnie came back. In what time period was that? Like, did Ronnie is he on the demos that appear on the relit version too?
Yeah. Yeah, he came back soon after Cool Kids. I'm trying to remember. I can't remember exactly when we got Brad, because there's a few shows floating around with Brad playing with us, and it was before we recorded the record. Oh. So he'd been with us. He was with I should ask him because he probably remember. But it was a kind of a short period after we got done with the record. We went out, started doing shows again, and then shortly after that, Ronnie returned to town. He had been out in L.A. and seemed to straighten himself out, Yeah. So we started making plans to get him back in the band. And I think at that point, Brad is a super great guy. Him and I really bonded. We were almost like brothers, like during that recording. We shared a bedroom and everything.
Oh, really? Wow. That's cool.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you'd lay there, like at night with the lights out, we'd be talking to each other and like, we better go to sleep. But
that's awesome, man.
Yeah, it was really cool. So it was really difficult to break that to him when Ronnie came back. But the thing was, he was great as as a fill-in. But we would look back at, like, we would record videos every night of the shows, and we would look back at them, and he did a great job, but it wasn't Ronnie, and it was obvious that chemistry wasn't there. Yeah. That thing that Ronnie had. So when Ronnie did come back, we thought, we have to get him back because he's part of the original thing,
Yeah, you guys kind of have this thing where the guitars play off of each other. Is what I really noticed from being a fan for so long.
Yeah, we've been playing together so long, so we kind of know what each other does. We know I know what Ronnie's good at. He knows what I'm good at, and that comes in handy. Especially working on new songs, we kind of know who would do the solo and what song.
One of the things I noticed, and with the work that Beau did on it, I listened to it through headphones the other day. So I put on, Red Hot Black and Blue comes on, and that guitar intro that you guys do, where you guys are kind of playing back and forth on each other, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And to hear it through headphones it's like an orgasm in your head. You're just like, oh man, that just sounds so cool.
I'm going to have to try. I got some really nice headphones. I'm going to have to listen to it on that.
And there's a bunch of things that really come out on it, and we'll get to that maybe you haven't even, since you've only listened to it on a lot of the greatest speakers yet, that you may not have even noticed either. So you guys had the demos and listened to those demos. It sounded like you guys were very prepared because those demos sound very much like what ended up on the album. There's 8 of the 10 songs are on those demos. So, going into the album, how did you guys feel about it?
Well, we when we weren't on the road playing, we were in our little rehearsal space working on demos. That's pretty much all we did in our spare time. Donnie was the main songwriter, and I always was blown away by, he'd bring in a new idea, and I go, how did you think of that? It's like, that was always like how it struck me. It was like, it amazed me, and it kept getting better, and it would evolve. So, this was just the next step in the evolution. And, so we all felt it was great. I mean, every record we went into, we felt was like, oh, this one's even going to be better. And so that's kind of how we felt.
Like, and you mentioned that about Donnie, like Lie Like a Rug, that whole vocal, and you've got to count in on that guitar part that comes in on that vocal right at the right time. Like, I just wondered, like, did he bring it to the band like that?
Yeah. Well, that's one of the songs he co-wrote with John Palumbo. That and Cold Shower. And it's weird because he had a few different songwriting partners that he would work with for different fields. And John Palumbo had that cool, it's kind of harder edge, but almost progressive thing. Because I don't know if you're familiar with Crack the Sky. That was John Palumbo's band.
Oh, no, but okay.
They were like a mid-70s progressive. They were really good.
Yeah, because I was listening to that. I think it was today, and I'm thinking, for someone to come up with that, just the way that vocal with that guitar that goes into it, it's like that's not normal. Like, it's not your normal type of thing, you know what I mean?
No, that's how Donnie wrote. It was always it was never anything that I would ever have thought of. And that's what I loved about it.
Yeah. Now going to your guitar sound on the album, when it was finished, how did you feel about it?
I was happy with the sound.
Yeah.
I'm real picky about my tone. I know when we were recording, Beau kind of had a cool way of recording. I had like my normal like Marshall. We would set up two setups. I had my Marshall setup, and then next to it I had a rented what was that? One of those Roland. What was the name of it?
Like a Roland chorus or something like that?
It. Yeah, 212s.
Yeah.
And I set that on clean, like a cleaner setting, and then he mic'd both of them and then blend them. So it was like a really cool mix.
Wow. So you had that on either side of you as you were playing. That must sound phenomenal, man.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Very cool. Very full sounding.
That's awesome. So now I understand that Mike Slamer came in and did parts on 2 songs. Mm-hmm. How did you guys feel about that?
Well, I wasn't too happy with it. Ronnie wasn't either. It was one of those things like, we've talked to Beau about it since, and he was sort of, go ahead.
It sounded like he was kind of like, from what I've read about it, that he wanted to get the album finished and they were on a rush, but I listened to the demos and you guys already more or less knew the parts anyway, so which is why I find that so weird.
Right. Well, Scarlet Fever was actually a new song, so we hadn't worked it out yet completely. And in fact, Ronnie and I hadn't even discussed who was going to do the solo. So when it came time to do it, we sort of try to keep it even, so we both have about equal amounts of solos on records. So I told him, I told Ronnie that he should probably do it because, I forget what the reason, but he went in to attempt it first, and neither of us had even thought about the solo yet, so he hadn't had a chance to even think about it. So he went in, he worked on it for several hours and he was just not happy with the way it was going. So, that night he comes out and he gets me and he goes, "Hey, you want to go try it?" He says, "I'm just not having any luck. See if you can come up with something." So I went in, and it was right at the end of the session. So I had like 10 minutes, and I just ran through it a couple times just to see if I could come up with something. And at the end of that, I asked Beau for the basic track that I could take back to my room and work on. And I said, I'll have something in the morning, because that's usually how I do it. I'll just take the empty track and I'll go back and figure something out. So the next day I come back with I had a solo, but as I'm coming up the elevator, I hear the song playing.
Oh, no.
And I hear somebody else, I hear all these Eddie Van Halen licks happening. I'm like, what? So I walk down the hall and I go up to the door that goes into the control room and it's locked. So I'm standing out in the hallway listening to all this, like all this stuff.
Yeah.
And, so that kind of bugged me that he didn't give me a chance to try it. But what really got me was, I don't know that song. And then the next thing I knew, I heard Walking Away playing, and I heard Mike Slater playing on that too. And that was one of my actually songs that I had stuff worked out on.
Oh.
I already knew what I was going to play. We hadn't even gotten to that song yet. So that's what sort of pushed it over the edge for me. And for years, I kind of had a resentment behind that. But, it sort of, everything came to a head, and I had to confront Beau about that. He actually let me go back and do that. There's that transition solo from the slow part to the ending.
Right.
It's like a Prince wah-wah thing.
Yeah. Which is cool.
Yeah, so he let me do that in some of the out solo, and then there's a little bit of Mike still on the fade, which, that didn't really matter, but since, I think Beau must have seen a few interviews where Ronnie and I have been complaining about that over the years.
I would.
Yeah.
I mean, if that was me, I'd be like, come on. I would be pretty pissed off.
Well, the problem with that too is that didn't sound like either Ronnie or I. It's like
that's right.
Completely different style of guitar playing, And so when it came to playing that live, it was like, well, I'm not going to do it. And then, poor Ronnie took it upon himself to travel up to New Jersey to where Mike lived and have Mike teach him that solo so he could play it live. But when Beau finally did the remix, he did reach out and offer. He says, if anyone wants to fix anything before I do this, now's the time to do it. Like, if there's something you've been unhappy with all these years, and he knew it was Scarlet Fever, and he even offered to let me do the end of the out solo on Walking Away again too, which I declined. I said, nah, it's just a fade out, so just leave that. So Ronnie went back and did the Scarlet Fever solo.
Oh, that's awesome. That's cool.
And also Jimmy did the drums on Lilac Rug and Sax.
Yeah, because Anton Fig played on one of those tracks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, as I was diving into the album, I mean, right from the vocals on Midnight Dynamite, right from the get-go, you can kind of tell the difference. And I'm not just referring to Steve's main vocal. There's all these backgrounds on it that seem to have been really bumped up, especially on the chorus, that sound phenomenal.
Yeah, I think he did a lot of the things, even when he did the Blow My Fuse remix, he brought those vocals, because there was something in the 80s, it was kind of almost like the style was to bury the vocals, and Donnie liked to keep them down too for some reason. So that he would, well, especially on the demos, because Donnie was the one mixing them, but he'd keep the vocals down, and he'd also keep the lead guitars down, which always bugged me, because you're always straining to hear what the guitar was playing. So Beau kind of fixed all that, and I think a lot of that was he took the effects off, or lightened the effects on it. So that brings things to the front when you do that.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing of listening to it, isn't it? And that's what Beau has said, is you get those vocals more, and the guitars they sound really bright, and they're really there, which is fantastic. And I'm not saying the album didn't sound great before. It's just you can tell what he's done with it. It may be subtle, but it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Well, that's the cool thing about it is you think, well, how can you make it any better? And then he does.
Yeah. And on Red Hot, Black and Blue, there's that second low voice.
Oh yeah.
Man, that sounds like, through the headphones, wait to hear that. It's just like, You're just like, oh my, you can hear it all the way through. There's just that one part in the chorus that it isn't there, and then it comes back in. Do you recall who that was?
I think it was Steve.
Yeah.
He just doubled it down an octave.
Yeah, it sounds killer, man. It's just so, even when I'm in my truck, putting that on, I can hear it there too. But through those headphones, it's just like it's just all over the place. It's just amazing, which is really cool. I also do notice that did he bump up the bottom end a little bit on the bass?
He might have, because I've had some people ask me if Mark replaced the bass parts, and it's like, no, that's Donnie on there. Mark didn't do any bass.
It's very smooth. It's like really, it's more a modern, bass is now. Not that really, really loud bass, but it's a little bit smoother now, and you get a better feel for it. And I also noticed that on some of the tracks on the kick drum and what you're hearing on the drums, the kick drums really on certain songs is really predominant. It really sounds great.
Yeah, we were always big on the kick drum anyway.
But it's funny because, and I noticed this, I don't know if even when you guys heard the original recording, what I thought was really cool that Beau did was the fact that certain drum songs, like on Laying Rubber, for instance, the snare is it's not as loud as it is on other tracks. It's almost as if Beau was smart enough to realize that, okay, I'm mixing and doing these parts for the song, not so the whole album sounds coherent. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Like, because, you use Dr. Feelgood, for instance. Like, there's a certain drum sound on that album that pretty much is throughout the whole thing, and it doesn't really change a lot. But I noticed that Beau, on certain things, he would change it a bit, and it wouldn't, which was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's, I got quite a bit out of listening to it. I went over it probably like 5 or 6 times because I love the album, so just listening to it in this new way is like, it's really exciting.
Yeah, and now you got me wanting to get my headphones out. Well, I do have them out downstairs. It wouldn't take much to
That's awesome. That's awesome. I haven't actually cranked it on my home stereo yet. I had the vinyl on the other day, but I haven't played it through Amazon Music. Now, this one's not going to be on vinyl, I take it.
That's a good question. Probably not, but I because I remember when we did Rock Your Face Off, when we still had Loud and Proud as the label.
Yeah.
I was pushing to get them to press some vinyl, and they wouldn't go for it because it was too expensive. So now this is almost like we don't really have like a label behind it. So yeah, I don't know. That is a good question. I mean, there's the physical CD. Yeah, which I don't even have a copy of it yet.
Which I probably will get. I was kind of curious about that vinyl because vinyl just seems to be everybody's gone backwards now.
Yeah. Well, I keep trying to tell those guys, oh, come on. Because I know when I was doing the Rhino Bucket thing, we would go to Europe, and our record company had a distributor over there that would press vinyl for us. And so we'd pick up like cases of vinyl and sell them, and we sold more vinyl than anything over there.
That's awesome. I didn't realize that. That's very cool. I mean, I like Rhino Bucket a lot too. So you're not doing that anymore? You're not in Rhino Bucket anymore?
Not at the moment. It's kind of on hiatus, but we've sort of been talking about maybe doing another record some time down the road.
That's cool. Now, let's discuss Walking Away. I mean, we did touch on the ending guitar part and the guitars on that. People have come out and said and I've seen it on social media where they're like, I don't understand why this song was never a huge hit. Well, obviously it was never released as a single. I find it funny that Atlantic released 2 videos of 2 pretty much, rock songs, but didn't touch on this one.
Yeah, well, they released Cold Shower,
and there's a video for Midnight Dynamite too.
But that we had to do on our own because they didn't want to put any more money into it.
Oh,
I think that's all.
I didn't realize that. That's a good video, actually. It looks great. I watched it today.
Yeah, that was a self-done. Like we rented out this big hall in Emmitsburg, Maryland, at this college, St. Mary's College, and then we charged $5 for people to come and be in the video.
That's cool.
And that basically paid for the video.
Wow. Well, I mean, if that's this was in Maryland, if this was at home, so I mean, you guys are pretty big there, so I'm sure the fans just jumped at that. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, and it was like an all-day thing, because, it was low budget, so they didn't have multiple, like, cameras and all that, so they had to do all these takes and different angles, and then when we got done, I think we did like a short, very short, like little half-hour set or something for the crowd. Oh, that's cool, man. That's very cool.
Yeah. By then we were completely, like, drained.
No doubt. So walking away, did you guys feel like that could have been a single?
I can't even remember how we felt back then. It was almost like, I don't even know if it was discussed, because I know, was For Shame a single? I can't remember. Maybe Donnie didn't want a single, a ballad as a single. Like, it finally came around for Blow My Fuse. Yeah. But he may have had, like, some resistance for that to become a single, because it was so uncharacteristic of the sound of the band.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that is a good point. I see that.
I mean, that could have had something to do with that, but I can't even remember talking about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because, like, Don't Close Your Eyes is, it became a big song, and it was kind of obvious that it probably was going to be a single.
No, that was actually not going to be a single either.
Really?
That was like after the fact. Yeah, that record was already done its whole cycle, and the record company was telling us to start thinking about the next one.
Yeah.
And we were on that Tesla Great White tour. I don't know if you've heard that story, and that was pretty much the last tour the last like major tour that we were gonna do for that record.
Yeah.
And Alan Niven, Great White's manager, heard that song. Like, he was there every night, and he goes, how come they didn't release that as a single? And we're like, oh, because they're done with the record. And he asked our manager because our manager said he had mentioned that to them, and they just shot it down. They were like, they didn't want to put any more money into it. So Alan Niven was the guy that he went to Atlantic himself. And at that point, he had Guns N' Roses.
So he had some clout, right?
Yeah, and they listened to him.
Wow. Well, they were smart to listen to him because the song did really well.
Yeah.
It did really well. I remember seeing, I think it was Blow My Fuse on Much Music. We used to have that thing called the Power Hour, and they would play, like, hard rock videos, like, once a week kind of thing.
That station.
Yeah, and that's when I got hooked on the album. That's when I bought it. It wasn't because of Don't Close Your Eyes. It was that song. I was like, I love this song. And I think I played the crap out of it. Like, and I still love that song to this day. And I love the album. It's a fantastic album. But I did want to mention Cry Baby, because upon listening to this, I noticed the song a lot more. There's a bunch of stuff on it that, even that intro is really, it seems like it's really bumped up, where before it wasn't as noticeable. And then going into the song, I think he did a really great job on that track.
Yeah, Cry Baby was another one of those ones that was sort of half written in the studio. It wasn't done when we got there.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and Beau did a lot of, all the keyboards on that was Beau.
Was Beau. Yeah, I think in the liner notes there it says. Oh, that's so cool. Well, Brian, I really want to thank you for joining me today and talking about. I hope I didn't bombard you too much with all the questions.
Oh no, I mean that's the purpose of these things.
Yeah, man. No, it was. I can't. My hope is that it would be on vinyl, but I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and get the CD anyways. But it's still, at least I have the original vinyl, and it still sounds great anyways.
Yeah, I still have one of those. I have one for every record. I'm trying to think of, except for Show Business, which wasn't released.
There was a vinyl for Hotwire?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to hunt that down. Was there one for the live album too?
I could have sworn I have one. I have to go look. I can't remember. But I think it might have been. I think all the Atlantic records were released on vinyl.
Yeah, and then it went away. Now it's back. It's crazy.
Yeah, I know.
It's so awesome. So you are a vinyl guy, I take it.
Well, I didn't get rid of any of mine. I still have all of it. When I initially when I moved from Maryland to Los Angeles, I had whatever I had on CD. I packed that vinyl up and stored it at my parents' house.
Cool.
And but I still have like 500 vinyl albums.
Wow, that's awesome.
Right now they're in a box. Don't have a shelf to put them on, but then there's boxes in my parents' attic, and I don't know what shape they're in up there. I haven't looked at them for years, but
was this stuff you listened to as like growing up kind of stuff, like you've accumulated over the years?
Yeah, I still have the very first record I ever got for my ninth or 10th birthday. I forget what year it was. When it was Creamed Israeli Gears, was the first album I actually owned for myself. Before that, I listened to my brother's albums. But so from that point on, I've got everything.
Wow, man, that's pretty awesome. It's good that you didn't get rid of it. I still had most of my vinyl from when I was a kid, and like I said, I got robbed and I lost. I've got about 400 or 500 vinyls as well, and I lost about 200.
Wow.
Yeah. Strange that people steal vinyl again, right?
Yeah, that is strange because it's kind of hard to move that stuff around.
I know. Well, man, to be honest with you, like it was in my basement, and they had put it in this huge Tupperware bin, and they must have carried it out, and they dropped a bunch off the side of the stairs, and then we had a back porch, and when we came home, there was all this vinyl all over the back porch as well.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Is that the only thing they took was vinyl?
Oh, no, they took 4 guitars. My Les Paul.
They must have been music lovers.
Yeah, they must have been. Yeah, Les Paul, a Strat, a Telly, a Charvel, Warren DeMartini. Yeah. Yeah, so I've replaced most of the vinyl, and I've replaced the guitars. So, but you never get those guitars back though. That's just the thing, right?
Right. Yeah, I've had a few stolen, and I've replaced a few, but they're not like they're the one that I lost. You know.
Yeah. I know exactly. That Strat I played it a lot, and I played in bands with it and used it a lot, and if I could get that one back, I would be really happy, right? It's just that guitar, like, I'm sure you have a guitar that you just love that, like it just feels the best, and,
Yeah, I've got actually a couple of those, but, and they're irreplaceable, like, my old Melody Maker that I used throughout the 80s.
Yeah.
It's just, I took the finish off when I was 14, and so it's, and replaced the pickups and all this stuff, so it's probably not worth anything, except to me.
To you, yeah.
So if somebody stole it, I wouldn't even be able to get, I don't know how much it's even worth for the insurance to cover it,
No, that's just it. And the worst part about it was they didn't take them in cases. I had them on a rack, like my guitar rack. So they just took them and piled them into whatever they took all the stuff in.
Wow. Yeah, I've had nightmares like that.
It was awful, man. But I've talked about it many times on the show. Probably people are sick of hearing me talk about it, but it's one of those things. And I had 2 copies of Blow My Fuse on vinyl. One was my original one that I probably played too much, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to replace this because I want a nice newer one. Mm-hmm. And they took both of those. But I did replace it, but I got the reissue from 2015. It sounds good though. It sounds really good.
Yeah, I've got duplicates of, like this Rayleigh Gears. I had to buy another one of those. I had 2 Led Zeppelin 2s because I wore out the first one.
Yeah, that's just the way it goes, right? It's like I have 2 Skid Rows, and one is the debut album, and one is I think Youth Gone Wild is like so worn that you can't even play it now.
Right.
It's one of those things. And I think Blow My Fuse was kind of like that too. There might have been a few tracks on it that probably got worn down. And it was funny too, because when I was a kid, I would slip the receipt in the album.
Oh yeah.
So I had bought like Aerosmith Gems and another Rat, Reach for the Sky on the same day. So anyways, I hadn't played these things for years, and then all of a sudden I opened it up one day, and there's this receipt. It says the date I bought it on it. And
wow, that's cool.
it's kind of a geek thing, but it was just, I was a kid, right? I loved my music, right? So it was just, but that's all gone, which kind of sucks too.
Yeah.
And sometimes at a circus magazine, I'd rip out the ad and put it, like the advertisement in the magazine. I'd put that in the jacket too.
Oh.
Which was, it's kind of a little OCD, but.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, when you pull it out 30 years later and here's a circus magazine ad, and you're like, oh yeah, I forgot I did that.
Yeah, it was just like, in fact, this was like last week I was, how's I doing? For some reason, I have all my guitars on a rack, but I have all the cases stored in this one closet, and I pulled out the case from my, I got to have this 335 that I got from Gibson. It's like the only free guitar I ever got from Gibson.
Yeah.
And I pulled that case out the other day for some reason, and when I opened that little thing in the inside, I found their original like loaner agreement because they loaned it to me first before I ended up with it.
Wow.
So it's cool just to see that stuff. Yeah, like
I know. Well, that's just it.
Yeah, it tells you what date you got it and when you're supposed to bring it back. And
I guess as we get older, we kind of dig that. I don't know. I never put it in. I never put that stuff in there thinking that 30 years later I'd be looking at it. I just thought, hey, this is cool. This is the advertisement. I'm gonna shove that in there. But now looking back on it, you're like, man, I can't believe I saved this.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. It comes in handy though if you're trying to remember, like, when did I get that?
That's a good point. All right. Anyways, man, thank you so much, and hopefully we'll have live music again soon, and I'll be able to come out and see you guys.
Hopefully. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's my pleasure. I always enjoy doing these things.
Right on, man. Well, thank you. Enjoy the rest of your night, and hopefully we'll get to talk again.
Okay.
Okay, Brian. Take care, man.
All right. You too.